I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and this is my review and installation of the AFE Magnum Force Stage 2 Pro 5R cold air intake system fitting all 2007 and up JKs. There are two different versions of this intake system, one for those of you with the 3.8 liter and one for those of you with the 3.6 liter engine, so make sure you get the right one for your Jeep. Today we're going to talk through the installation of this cold air intake system, which is a very simple 1 out of 3 wrench install. This is something anyone can do in their driveway with just some traditional hand tools and about an hour's time, but we'll talk more about that in just a second. We're also going to talk through the construction and a few of the features of this cold air intake. A cold air intake is going to be for those of you who are wheeling in dry environments only, not doing a lot of mud, not doing a lot of water crossings, or just keeping your Jeeps on the road and want a little bit of additional throttle response, a few additional miles per gallon, and to get a little bit more noise from underneath the hood. Now, this cold air intake system from AFE does have a little bit of a different design than some of the other ones on the market. However, it's still going to be an open system instead of a closed box system with a heat shield, so it is going to be fairly similar to most of the others out there, although this one is going to be a little bit pricier than some of the others. So if you're looking for a bare bones system, you're not as worried about the brand name, you can get a system that's very similar to this with a heat shield, a intake tube, and a filter for a few dollars less than this one. If you like the AFE name, they've been around for a while, you want to have their parts on your Jeep, this is going to be a great system, it's just going to be a little bit more expensive. This system is going to come with everything you need to get it installed in your Jeep. You're going to have a plastic intake tube that's designed to accept your crankcase vent and your ambient air temperature sensor from your factory Jeep. This does have a heat shield, and one of the things that makes this design slightly different from some of the less expensive ones is that this is a one-piece heat shield, so there's a little bit less assembly to do when you're installing this in your Jeep. And of course, this does come with your new cold air intake filter. This is a 4-inch conical filter. This one here is an oiled filter, but AFE also has a kit that has a dry filter if you're more interested in that. Cold air intakes are very easy to get installed on your Jeep, and this is going to be a very simple 1 out of 3 wrench installation that shouldn't take you more than an hour. The first step is going to be removing your factory air intake tube and air intake box. Once you have those removed, you'll disconnect your crankcase vent. You're also going to disconnect and remove that ambient air sensor from your factory tube. Then you can go ahead and install your heat shield, which, as I said before, because this is a one-piece shield, is going to install a little easier than some of the others. You're going to install that from the top and from the inside of the fender well of the Jeep using the hardware that's included. Once that's installed, you can install the air intake tube onto the throttle body of the Jeep, and finally top everything off with your new conical filter. Along the way, you'll install that factory ambient air temperature sensor into your intake tube and make sure it gets plugged back into the wiring harness, and of course reattach your crankcase vent. This whole process can be done with just some traditional hand tools in your driveway in about an hour. This system comes in at right around $300, and there are some more expensive systems out there. However, most of those are going to be a closed box system, and there are going to be less expensive systems out there. Some of those require some additional assembly, for instance, of the heat shield. So it really comes down to what you want for your Jeep and what your budget is. As I said before, if you're looking for bare bones, you can get a similar system that requires a little bit more assembly for a few dollars less. And if you'd rather go with a closed box system that will hopefully get a little bit fresher, colder air to your Jeep, we have those as well, but they're going to be a little bit more expensive. So this lands somewhere in the middle. So if you're looking for a few extra miles per gallon, a little bit more sound from underneath your hood, and a little bit better throttle response, a cold air intake is a good idea, especially if you stay out of the water and the mud and only wheel in dry environments or keep your Jeep on the road. If that's what you're looking for, this is going to be an easy to install option, even if it is a few dollars more than some of the simpler ones. So that's my review of the AFE Magnum Force Stage 2 Pro 5R cold air intake system fitting all 2007 and up JKs that you can find right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.